Morning. Before the noon meditation this afternoon, we'll be chanting the 12-letter mantra, and there's a piece of paper in the back with the mantra on it. It's called the 12-letter mantra because it has 12 syllables, 12 Sanskrit syllables, which are pronounced in the mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That should be 12. When you put the words together, it comes out as Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is a Krishna mantra. And Bhagavate is the form of God, or is the God. And when the God incarnates, it incarnates, or one of the incarnations, forms of the incarnation is Krishna. And so this is, you might say, another name for Krishna, or it's the incarnation of Krishna as Bhagavate. And then Vasudeva is the Lord of the breath. And the Om is like a salutary proclamation or a welcoming of Lord Krishna, and Vaya is also a form of welcoming Lord Krishna into this incarnation, into your life, into our lives. And so that's basically what the meaning of the mantra is. Try to express it in English. If you asked a real yogi, what's the meaning of the mantra? The real yogi would say, the meaning of the mantra is what you feel when you chant the mantra. And that's really the true meaning of it. But we like to be technical here on this earth plane, and so we need other things besides just chant it until you feel what it means. The melody of the mantra goes Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And so that's how the melody goes. And maybe we can just start the mantra and just chant it, the syllables as they go along. So it's Om Namo Bhagavate, start again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it's just repeated over and over again. And the idea with this mantra, and really with any mantra, is as you chant the mantra, you start vibrating, literally. And as you chant the mantra, you don't notice it because you're kind of involved in the chanting and the making of the sounds and that. But you're actually getting your whole physical body to vibrate to this particular mantra, to these particular sounds. And what's important about that is we have saints and sages of old who they're called mantrakaras, which means maker of mantras. And what they realize that if you chant these particular symbols, like sounds, it produces within you a vibration which is conducive to meditation. It's conducive to a spiritual vibration. It's a balancing. It helps you balance your entire world. We run around during the week trying to keep up with the world. And spiritually, it's very nice every once in a while to sit down and just to try and get to that calm place exists within the center of our being. And so that's what the objective of this particular mantra is to balance really all the chakras. There's 6 chakras that we deal with. They're dual in nature, masculine, feminine, and so we come up with 12. So these particular sounds, you're going up and down the spinal column, kind of tapping when you say the sound, you kind of tap the chakra at the base of the spine, Om, and then the one above it, Na, and then the one above it, Ma, Onam, Namo, Baha, Ga, Ba. That's the crown, the Ajna chakra. So you get up to the Ajna chakra, then you go back down the spinal column, is Ga, Va, Te, Vasudevaya. And so you get 6 more sounds as you go down the spinal column. And again, you're just tapping each of the chakras as you go down, each of the chakras as you go up, and it produces that spiritual centering vibration that exists within each of us. It's there, we just got to tune into it. That's all. And so again, the mantra that we'll be chanting, and I'll start the noon meditation with the mantra, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And as I always try and mention, you really get the most benefit from the mantra if you chant the mantra along with everybody else. It produces the greatest strength within you, kind of like sounding a bell. You tap the bell where the sound is the loudest and clearest is in the center of the bell. You're the bell. When you chant the mantra, it's loudest and clearest inside of you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 And after you chant the mantra, you just sit and meditate for a few moments. Shanti, good afternoon. Welcome to my heart and to the Temple of Kriya Yoga this afternoon, to the noon meditation. We've been chanting the 12-letter mantra. And I guess repeating myself, you'll notice if you actually do the chanting, if you chant aloud yourself as you do the mantra itself, the chanting is actually the preparation for the mantra. It's the preparation for the moment. And if you do the chanting and you really put some effort into the chanting of the mantra, when you stop, you'll notice if you sit quietly, if you sit still, you can feel something vibrating. It feels like your body is vibrating, but it's really your astral body vibrating, because that's what's picking up the vibration. And it's not so much the physical body that's sitting there vibrating. You're feeling your astral body vibrate. So the mantra isn't completed until you sit for a few minutes in silence and meditation. The theme for the meditation this afternoon, nice Christmas day, is P.S. Smile. I've actually used this title a number of times over the years. This is the first lecture that I gave some, let's see, a long time ago. Oh boy. must be 30 years ago or something like that, was I entitled it P.S. Smile. I don't know how the meditation was, but I loved the title. It's P.S. That means postscript, like you write a letter and you sit down and you write a letter to someone and you're all involved in the letter and talking, writing to the person and explaining what you're doing and what you've been doing since the last time you wrote the person. When I was younger, we used to write people. Now I guess you send emails. So I guess now you're typing it out. But back in the old days, we would write a letter. You have to put a stamp on it and mail it. And you'd write the letter in ink, and then when you were done, you'd sign it, and you'd say, "Oh my gosh, I forgot." When I went to write the letter, the most important thing that I wanted to say, I forgot about it. I got so involved in the writing, and my English and everything, I forgot what I really wanted to say. So what you do, you say P.S., and then you write one more sentence, what you really wanted to say. And the P.S. is postscript, after the script, after the letter. It's what you really wanted to say, but you forgot to say it. And so that's what mystically you need to do with your life. During the day, you kind of run around. You got to go to your job. You got to pay the bills. You got to take care of the family. You got to take care of the friends. You got to take care of the boss. You got to take care of all of that. You're running around, involved in the world, doing all these world things that need to be done, that you have to do. And then at the end of the day, you sit down, prepare for the running and doing all the stuff in the nighttime that you do, all the dreaming that you get involved with. But that moment of transition occurs between the daily activity and the nighttime dreaming. And for a moment, we suggest, it's called tarka, is the word we use in yoga. Tarka means reflection. And so what you need to do is reflect on what happened during the day. And stop the mind, stop the body, sit in bed for just a few moments before lying the head down and say, what did I do today? What did I accomplish today? What didn't I do today? What should I have accomplished that I didn't accomplish today? And you think about that. And you just, again, it's called tarka. You reflect on what you've been doing during the day. Maybe reflect on what you've done during the week, what you've reflect on what you've done during the month, and of course during the year. What did you do during the year? And we take that all and kind of put it all together, and then next week, of course, we come up with a new year. What's important about a new year is not so much that it's a new year. It is a new year and all of that. But what's really important about it is it's a time when you close the books on this year. But closing the books doesn't mean you throw them away. It means you have to go back and review the books. And again, you look at what happened during the year. It's a I guess what we would call a maha tarka. It means a big tarka. You reflect at the end of the year on what happened during the past year. What were the good things that happened? What were the bad things that happened? What did I accomplish that I wanted to accomplish? What did I accomplish by accident that I didn't really want to accomplish? What didn't I accomplish? And you look at both. What did I want to do that I didn't do? And you reflect on it and think about it and start to make plans for the future. You reflect on the new year for the coming year. And what are you going to do in the coming year? It's called the New Year's resolution, obviously. But then at night, each day, you also do the reflection. What happened during the day? Okay, what am I going to do different tomorrow to make tomorrow better? And I was listening to the radio a week or two ago, and somebody said a statement that was it was very mystical, very mystical statement coming from the radio, or at least I thought it was very, very mystical. It's something that I've touched on when I've talked in the past, but the way this personality said it made it very pithy. I thought pithy, very the word's escaping me now. It's condensed down into a short statement. And in that short statement, something is said where when you look at it and you see it and you think about it, you can talk about it for an hour, and after an hour is gone, you still haven't said what's in that statement. The word is wit. It's a very witty statement. And again, the wit means you've taken something in life that's really probably fairly significant, fairly massive, and you condense it down to 10 words. And then you realize in those 10 words, you've condensed down 10 hours of verbalization and conversation. And so they call that wit. And usually when you see it, you try and talk about it, and then you see it, and you kind of chuckle. You say, wow, that's what I've been trying to say for 10 hours, and here it is in 10 words. And so you kind of chuckled to yourself. So usually we say witty, and it sounds like it's attributed to something that's funny. But that's because we just kind of laugh to ourselves when we hear it, when we see it. But wit means it's something right succinct to the point, and you say, wow. What the personality said before I forget. Don't let the pile of bad things spoil the pile of good things. To me, I said, oh my gosh, that says it all. Like I said, in some of the meditations that I've given in the past, I've talked about karma, and I've talked it in terms of karma. And I said, we all deal with karma. And usually when we're dealing with the karma, what we're talking about is the bad karma. Now, mystically, spiritually, there is no such thing as bad karma. We would say difficult karma because we have to put energy into it to overcome the problems and obstacles that are there because of the piece of karma. Because there are obstacles, because we have to put effort into it, and because a lot of times the effort is painful, we call it negative karma. But it's not. Usually the negative karma, the mystic would say that's the good karma because now you're growing. When something good is happening, the obstacles aren't there. So you're moving along in life without the obstacles, and it's easy. That's why you don't have to talk about it. People usually don't write the books about the good karma or the good stuff because it's easy to deal with. You win the lottery for $1 million, boy, that's easy to deal with. Or at least in the beginning, it's easy to deal with. But then the obstacles start to flow. And the difficult karma starts to manifest. And that's where you need the books. There's where you need the masters. There's where you need the people that have gone before you and run into the obstacles, bang their head, bing, bang, boom, right into the obstacle. And they've struggled with it for days, months, years, maybe decades. And then finally, they've been able to overcome the obstacle. And so they'll talk about it. Sometimes in literature and books and things like that, sometimes through verbal meditations, speaking, public speaking, that type of thing. And they say to you, oh, when this happens, you do this, you do that. This is how you overcome the obstacle. When they're talking to you, if it touches you, if you say, oh my gosh, yeah, it sounds like the speaker's talking right to you. That's happening because it's happened to them. And they've worked their way through that particular obstacle or through those particular obstacles. And they're saying, this is how you do it. And so we focus on the bad things, and the difficult karma, and the negative karma, and the problems that we have. In Buddhism, they have a word, it's called dukkha. And usually it's translated as pain and suffering. And so we look at our life and we, again, tend to focus on these obstacles. And so we say, oh yeah, when the Buddha said life is dukkha, life is suffering, oh yeah, that's right. Boy, he hit the nail on the head. But that's actually not really the best translation for it. The best translation for the term dukkha is unsatisfactory. And so what we say is life has become unsatisfactory. And that's different than being painful. If it's unsatisfactory, it's probably painful. But the two ideas, the two concepts are different. And life can be unsatisfactory. It can be painful, but it's really the proper term is unsatisfactory. And that's important because if you understand that, you can take that idea of unsatisfactory, which is a attitudinal concept, and change it into something positive. If it's just pain, it's like, how do you deal with the pain? And there's a negative connotation there. Whereas if it's unsatisfactory, you say, oh yeah, how do I make it satisfactory? You get around that negativity that's involved with it. And what's important about that is that don't let the pile of bad things spoil the pile of good things. In other words, what I'm saying is a lot of good stuff has happened to you during the day. We're so focused on the problems, the pain and the suffering, so focused on it. We think that that's all there was during the day or during the year, whatever it might be. I promise you it just isn't true. If that were true, you just wouldn't make it through the day. You wouldn't make it through the day. Physically, mentally, you'd be over with. If all the problems just manifested themselves, there had to be something offsetting the negativity that happens during the day. And believe me, we all, as difficult as our lives might be, or as great as our lives might be, we all have a lot of good karma that's manifesting throughout our lives. That's important to remember. And it's important to remember, don't let the bad karma override the good karma. It's kind of the way I say it. But I like the pile of bad things and the pile of good things. There's a certain, to the point, there's a certain wit about that. So with those thoughts, I'd like to stop and do some chanting again for a few minutes. We're doing the 12-letter mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's called the 12-letter mantra because it has 12 syllables to it. Om Namo Bhagava. Those are 6. Vate Vasudevaya. That's 6 more. And what you're doing, the mantra, what it does as you chant it, whether you know it or not, you don't even have to know this, and it happens. But if you know this, it kind of adds some strength to the mantra. And what you're doing is you're actually starting at the base of the spine. The base of the spine is considered the physical world. That's the world you live in. So you always start there. You start with the Om at the base of the spine, that base chakra, and then you move up the spine to the top of it. So you're chanting Om Namo Bhagava. Ba is at the top of the spine. I have it spelled with the V. Some people pronounce it with the V sound to it. Again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. You chant the mantra and you hear you'll start to, if you're sensitive enough, you'll actually start to hear the mantra in your head. If you stop the chanting, you'll hear it in your head. And you'll hear the sounds, because the sounds are coming again from this astral, the chakric world. And as you do it physically with the physical vehicle, kind of mimic the sounds. What you're trying to do is tap each one of those chakras as you go up the spinal column, Om Namo Bhagava Ba, and then down the spinal column again. It's like you're tapping one side and then the other side. Again, like tapping a bell, tapping 6 little bells. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And so you're sprinkling the spinal column is all you're really doing as you chant the mantra. A lot of mantras focus in on one particular chakra. This encompasses all the chakras and gets them all vibrating to what I like to say is a spiritual vibration, which is a balanced vibration. Spiritual means balanced, and it's vibrating inside of you. And again, you can feel that vibration inside of you happening when you stop the chanting and then you sit and you say, whoa, my body is shaking. It's not. It's your astral body that's vibrating. So please feel free to join in with the mantra. Again, you don't have to. It's not a requirement. We won't kick you out if you don't. But it helps you. It helps you in your slowing down the world, the crazy world, the merry-go-round. Stop and let me off for a few moments. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 P.S. Smile. It means at the end of the day, after all is said and done, the pile of good things and the pile of bad things. Stop and reflect and think. And take something good out of the day and think about it and smile. And again, you'll say to me, oh, today was such a terrible day. Nothing good happened to me. It's an attitude. I promise you, lots of good things happen to you during the day. Lots of good things. It's just that they tend to be overshadowed. The answer is don't let them. That's what willpower is about. Willpower is not ego power. It's not making the ego stronger. It's making the will stronger so that I realize the difficult times are there and everybody goes through them. Everybody goes through the difficult times. If somebody isn't going through the difficult times, they're in a different world. They're not in this world. And that's the way to get past all the difficult times, is to escape this world. It really is. Because this world is not the world of it's not the world of senseless games. I wanted to say games and fun like that, but what I want to say is senseless games and senseless things that we do. We're here for a reason. The reason is to become enlightened, whether we know it or not. That's what the purpose is. We're all conscious beings. We're all conscious selves. I kind of like that term. When we start to talk about conscious beings and gods and things like that, we think of this separation that's occurring, and it's something different from us, and it doesn't pertain to us, and it just isn't true. The conscious self is you. There is something within you that's conscious. It is pure consciousness. We call it the spirit. It is pure consciousness. And it's for specific purposes and reasons having to do with desires that we have. There are certain desires we have. And so the consciousness says, I need a physical body to fulfill that desire. Oh gosh, I'm thirsty. I'd like to have a Coke. Well, if you have a Coke on the causal plane, it really doesn't taste very good. And if you have it on the astral plane, it still doesn't taste very good. But boy, when you have one here, boy, is it good. So it creates desires. And when it creates those desires causes it to fall into, the base of the spine. We move from this world up here, the mental, the mind, and we drop literally into the base of the spinal column, the base chakra. We call it Saturn chakra. It's a reference to astrology. But it's the base chakra, and that's where we drop down into it. It is the physical world, the physical manifestation. And we're here because we had a strong desire. There's some deep-seated, intense desire that we have in each lifetime. We come back over and over and over again, many, many times, over and over, because some desire is churning its way within our consciousness, or the consciousness is interacting with that desire, and it becomes so strong that we say, I need, in order to get the full effect of that manifestation of that desire, like I said, here I am up on the causal plane, and it's there, it's manifesting, but something's missing. And you go down to the astral, and something's still missing, and you get into the physical world, and you feel it. Not only do you feel it, but this world slows you down. It's a slow world that we're living in. Time here moves very slowly compared to the astral, compared to the causal, compared to the higher realms. It slows down here, and it slows down here for the simple reason is, in that slowness, you can think about it. I like to think of the astral world as a river flowing down. the Mississippi River, all mystical traditions, all have some river that's important to them. The river is the river inside of you, really, the astral river inside of you, that you get caught up and you're flowing down this river. And it's like, imagine yourself in the Mississippi River on a raft. When you're there, that's the astral world, and you're flowing down so fast, you're just trying to keep your head above water. You're trying to keep your balance. You don't have time to think about anything else. Just, like I said, keeping your head above water. But you come into this physical world, and it's like going off to the shore. And the raft hits the shore, and it comes to a stop, and everything just slows down. And you say, holy cow, I can get my bearings now. I can stop and think. So that's what the physical world is. It's a world where you can stop and think. And you think, oh, what do I want? What is that desire? Oh, I have a desire for a Coke. Ah, that's nice. And you go and you have a Coke. But you come to realize in the duration, which takes a long time, of the manifestation of the physical body, the physical world, sometimes the Coke isn't so good. You have too much Coke and you get sick from it. So in the awareness of the desire, or in that completion of the satisfaction of the desire, you have a desire, you complete that desire, and you want more, which is one of the problems with the physical world. Once you have one, you want another one. If not right immediately, I want one tomorrow, Coke. You have another desire. Oh, wow, I want to get married. And you have that desire. Well, you want to get married. Queen Ada talks about this all the time. Nothing happens. You say, hey, I want to get married, and nothing happens. And you walk through the world a little bit, and you think, I wanted to get married, and nothing's happening. And you realize, oh, holy cow, I got to do something. I have to, there's someone I like. I got to go up and talk to, I got to talk to that. What am I going to do? What do I say? And so we go through all that marvelous experience, and finally, wow, we wake up one day and we're married. And a few days later, we say, oh my gosh, I'd like to be unmarried. Now we're not shaking anymore. We're shaking our fist. And the fist is shaking at you. What happened? Well, you've had time to think. It's called you start looking for someone else, and you think to yourself, okay, I remember the first time. And you say, maybe I better think a little bit more when you meet someone new. With the job, you go in, you go get a job, and on the first day you're nervous. You're saying, oh my God, is the boss going to like me or not like me? Or the workers, am I going to get along with them? No, I'm not going to get along with them. Oh my God, what if the boss doesn't, what if the boss fires me? All that. You're there for a year, the boss comes up to you and so you say, leave me alone. Things change. You have to adapt. But that's what this world is about. And then when you say, well, so what does it all mean? And again, that's where the tarka comes in, the reflection. The purpose of life is to go through all that experience. And now you have time to think about it. Not only that, but you have time to meditate. The astral, like I said, you don't have time. It's more difficult. Let me just say it that way. Much more difficult. Here, it's much easier to get control of your life, to get control of your world. As little control as you have more control here than somewhere else. You have as much control as you have of your life here. And at some point, in the incarnation after incarnation after incarnation, dozens and hundreds and thousands, at some point you say to yourself, and the philosophers have talked about it, what's it all about? And it's really about two things. And I'll close with this thought for the meditation. It's about two things. One is about enlightenment. I already mentioned that. But the other thing is to accept life. That may be more important than the enlightenment, or equal to it in importance, because once you accept the life, once you accept this life, enlightenment is near, and enlightenment is close at hand. Because that's why you came here, was learn how to be enlightened, and the way you become enlightened is learning what this life is about and accepting it. And by accepting it, what do I mean? P.S. Smile. After everything is said and done, say, holy cow, that guy was crazy. Nothing did happen good to me today. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Nothing good happened to me today. And then smile about it. Laugh at it. And then with that, I'll close the meditation. You could just sit and meditate for another couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll just doodle for a little bit, for a few minutes.